ISIS, the Middle East on top of the radar, all Americans, Business Matters. This is going to be a great show. Let's take a look. Ryan, your thoughts in terms of what you've been working on the last several years.
Sure. So, I mean, they call themselves the Islamic State. And so American Muslims who face all kinds of prejudice and discrimination because of their religious faith, as a consequence, see coming at them concern about their status. It's one more example of concern about Muslims. And so it's important to understand that ISIS is not a good representative of Islam. Mainstream Islam has roundly condemned ISIS.
It's very visible, though. It's very, very, I mean,
that's right.
At this point, it's hugely visible.
No, it's right. And unfortunately, you know, their work is more visible than the yesterday.
Is your point, please don't judge Muslims by ISIS. It's a very, very far-right group.
Absolutely right.
You make sure, so that's your goal.
Indeed, what ISIS wants is for you to believe that they're acting as proper Muslims, but it's far from the truth.
That is what, in many cases, we're talking about ISIS. Really, the basis of ISIS, for lack of a better term, is about this very conservative religious stand. Is that correct?
That's right. But people think, when they think of ISIS, they think of religious fanatics. But these guys tend not to be very educated about Islam. In fact, two of the fighters who were captured...
So it's not really about the deep soul of religion.
I think that's right. So two of the fighters that were captured and put on trial in Great Britain, they found out that they had purchased books before they went, and the books they purchased were Islam for Dummies and the Quran for Dummies. These are not guys who made a great study of the religion and decided that the thing to do with that was to go out and commit terrorism. These are guys who were young men who had political and cultural gripes, found an identity that they wanted to go pursue, and went for it. So we shouldn't think of these people as, you know, nothing close to religious scholars. Indeed, the religious scholars are unanimous in saying these people aren't acting Islamically.
Yeah, all right, so Ryan, if again your focus is making sure that in this country people aren't prejudging, I guess, is that safe to say?
Well, we want to make sure that people aren't conflating ISIS, the Islamic State, with the mainstream interpretation of Islam.
Now, how do you do that, given the amount of press that is out there relative to you know, to ISIS?
That's right. No, so I mean, one thing you do is yesterday our organization, the Council on American Islamic Relations, worked to produce a letter in classical Arabic produced by over 100 religious scholars refuting ISIS's ideology point by point. Quranic quotes explaining why what they're doing is wrong.
We did a show several months ago, and what we heard from both sides, on one side of the aisle, was that Muslims, American Muslims, were not taking a stand. Were not, in fact, whether it was 9/11, condemning it to the extent that they should. That they were really quiet in their response. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's two things. One is, I think it's not a news story when the Muslim Association of Lehigh Valley, which put out a very strong statement about ISIS, saying it's morally repugnant, it's un-Islamic. That's not a story they run on the nightly news, so you don't hear about it. And the other point is this.
So they have taken that stand, as your point.
Oh, yes.
It just hasn't made the headlines.
Absolutely. And the other point is this. You know, when there's Christian terrorism around the world, the Lord's Resistance Army, Anders Breivik in Scandinavia killing all those people in the name of Christianity, we don't say, did your church condemn him? Because no one expects that of Christianity in the United States. We expect it of Muslims because Muslims have to fight this stereotype.
Yes.
But they shouldn't have to, right? They shouldn't have to put out a statement condemning ISIS. You should assume that they condemn ISIS because ISIS is so far outside the mainstream of Islam. And I want to say one more thing. If, as an American, you're wondering, what can we do about this crisis? If you're not in the military or serving abroad, there may not be much you can do. What you can do, though, is help the Syrian refugees who are here, and other refugees from the region, Iraqi refugees who are here. They are having a tremendous time getting out of this conflict, putting their lives back together, and there are numerous organizations in Pennsylvania and across the United States that allow you to help these people find a new life in safety.
The last 15 seconds, your parting thoughts. I'm sorry, we'll fly around the room. Go ahead, Ryan, your parting thoughts.
Sure. I mean, my parting thoughts are we should be careful about conflating ISIS with Islam. It's a shame that they're using that to describe themselves. It's not very accurate.